You wake up. You have a full day ahead. You respond to messages. You check emails. You attend meetings. You cross things off your list. You move from task to task without stopping. By evening, you're exhausted. But here's the strange part. When you actually ask yourself, what did I move forward today? The answer is quieter than you expected. You were busy every single hour. And somehow, almost nothing changed. If that sounds familiar, you're not failing at productivity. You may actually be too good at busyness. And there's a difference. Here's something worth understanding before anything else. Busyness isn't accidental. It's been systematically rewarded. Think about how we talk about people we respect. She's always working. He never stops. They're constantly grinding. In many cultures, especially for students and young professionals, busyness has become a status symbol, a proof of worth. If you're not busy, you must not be important enough, ambitious enough, serious enough. Social media amplified this. The person posting about their 5 a.m. wake-up call, the packed schedule, the late nights. We've attached an identity to the appearance of nonstop motion. And so people fill their time. Not always because the work requires it. Sometimes because empty time feels uncomfortable, unproductive, unjustifiable. There's also the structural side. Notifications don't stop. Emails don't stop. Other people's urgency never stops. The default state of modern life is reaction, moving from one incoming demand to the next. And in that environment, being intentional about your time takes genuine, active effort. The current pulls toward busy. Choosing differently requires swimming against it. That's not a personal failing. It's the water most of us are swimming in. Let's make the distinction clear. Being busy means filling your time with activity. Being productive means using your time to move something forward that actually matters. Those two things can overlap, but they often don't. The most revealing test is this. At the end of a busy week, can you point to something that's meaningfully different? A skill built, a project advanced, a relationship deepened, a decision made, a problem solved. Or did you just process? Respond to things, attend things, stay on top of things, all without actually building anything. This is the treadmill problem. You're moving the whole time. Your legs are working. You're sweating. But when you step off, you're in exactly the same place you got on. Busyness creates the feeling of progress. There's motion. There's effort. There are outputs, emails sent, meetings attended, tasks checked. But outputs aren't the same as progress. Progress requires a direction. And direction requires clarity about what actually matters, which is precisely what busyness crowds out. When you're constantly responding to what's urgent, you rarely stop to ask what's important. The urgent and the important are not the same. Urgent things demand your attention now. Important things move your life forward over time. And here's the pattern that traps people. Urgent things almost always win. Because they create pressure. They have deadlines. They affect other people's expectations. Important things are quieter. They can wait. They will wait, indefinitely if you let them. Now here's the part of this conversation that goes deeper than most productivity content. Sometimes, busyness is not accidental. Sometimes it's chosen. Subconsciously. Deliberately. Because staying busy is an effective way to avoid the things that feel harder than a full schedule. Think about what busyness allows you to avoid. Making a decision you've been putting off. Having a difficult conversation. Starting the project that actually matters to you and that you're afraid won't be good enough. Sitting with the discomfort of an unresolved situation. Asking yourself honestly whether the direction you're moving is the right one. Those things require stillness and honesty. Busyness provides noise instead. And noise is easier than honesty. When your calendar is full and your notifications are constant and your to-do list never ends, you have a built-in excuse for never reaching the things that require your actual attention. And it's a socially acceptable excuse. No one questions a busy person. No one asks why you haven't worked on what matters if you can point to 20 other things you've been doing. This is what psychologists sometimes call productive procrastination, being busy in ways that look like progress while carefully avoiding the thing that would require the most of you. The tasks at the bottom of the to-do list. The project in the drawer. The conversation you keep scheduling for next week. The direction you haven't chosen because choosing would mean committing. Busyness, in this sense, isn't a productivity problem. It's a courage problem. And that's a more useful diagnosis. Here's a useful self-check. A few signs that your busyness may be working against you. You feel exhausted but not satisfied. You do a lot. But at the end of the week, there's no sense of accomplishment. Just the awareness that next week will be the same. Your important projects never seem to advance. There's always something more urgent to handle first. And somehow, the things that genuinely matter keep getting scheduled for later. You're always catching up, never getting ahead. Every day starts with a backlog. The to-do list grows faster than it shrinks. You're in permanent reaction mode. You feel uncomfortable with empty time. A free afternoon makes you anxious rather than relieved. You fill it immediately, not because you want to, but because doing nothing feels unjustifiable. You can't clearly describe what you're working toward. You're busy, but if someone asked, "What are you building right now?" the answer is vague. Or it's a list of tasks instead of a direction. That last one is the most telling. Busyness can be directionless. You can be fully occupied every hour of every day and still not be moving toward anything you actually chose. Progress, by definition, requires a destination. So, if busyness isn't the answer, what is? The answer is direction before activity. Clarity about what you're actually trying to build in your work, your relationships, your personal development, your life overall, changes what productive even means. Because once you have direction, you can evaluate any given hour against a simple question. Does this move me closer to where I'm actually trying to go? Most people never get to that question. Because the default is just, what needs to be done right now? There's a useful idea from Stephen Covey, the idea of a ladder leaning against the wrong wall. You can climb with enormous effort and efficiency. You can be fast, focused, disciplined. And if the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, all of that effort just gets you to the wrong place faster. Getting the direction right is not a luxury. It's the precondition for everything else. Second principle, depth over volume. 1 hour of genuine focused work on something that matters produces more actual progress than 4 hours of fragmented activity. This isn't a motivational claim. It's practical. Complex work requires sustained attention. Shallow work, the kind you can do while half distracted, can't produce outcomes that require depth. The shift isn't about doing less. It's about protecting enough uninterrupted time to do real work. Even 1 or 2 focused hours a day, genuinely protected, changes what's possible over a week, over a month, over a year. So, what does this look like practically? It starts with a deceptively simple question. What are the 2 or 3 things that, if I made real progress on them this week, would actually matter 6 months from now? Not the most urgent. Not the longest. The ones that actually move the trajectory of your life. Most people can name those things, but they spend the majority of their time on things that wouldn't make that list. Here's a simple system that addresses this. The 1 anchor task. Every day, before anything else, before email, before messages, before the reactive part of your day begins, identify the single most important thing you could do today. The 1 task that would make the day worth having, regardless of everything else. Work on that first, even for 30 minutes, even before you feel ready. That 1 shift, protecting the first meaningful block of your day for what matters instead of what's incoming, changes your relationship with your own time. The weekly direction check. Once a week, 20 minutes. Ask 3 questions. What did I actually move forward this week? What is genuinely important in the week ahead, not just urgent? And is there anything I've been carrying on my list for more than 2 weeks that I keep deferring? Either do it, schedule it properly, or remove it entirely. A task that survives on your list indefinitely without being acted on is just guilt in written form. Default to less. If your schedule is so full that there's no room for the important things, the answer isn't better time management. It's fewer commitments. Saying yes to everything is not a virtue. It's a way of letting everyone else's priorities determine your life. Every yes to something is a no to something else. Make the trade-offs visible. If this video made you think about something differently, even slightly, that's worth something. Here's one thing I'd ask you to do before tomorrow. Write down the one thing, just one, that you've been putting off because there's always something more urgent. The project, the conversation, the decision, the direction. And then protect 30 minutes for it. Tomorrow morning, before the reactive part of the day begins. That's it. Not a lifestyle overhaul. One protected block. One real thing. If this video gave you something useful, hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds and helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. Subscribe to Goal Getter Guild for more honest, practical videos on building a life that actually moves. New video every week. And leave a comment. Are you someone who struggles more with staying busy or with choosing the right direction? I'd genuinely like to know. I'll see you in the next one.